What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Overseas Dimes with Q. As always, I'm your host, Rich Quinones. Thanks for joining us on another edition. As you guys know, it's a very fast and rapid pace look. We talk a lot of pro hoops overseas and, of course, stateside. And we always like to remind everyone we're coming at you on the Good Friends and live on Channel 82 in Bermuda, which I feel as though, as we have my guy, Ernest Carter, joining us for a couple moments, I feel as though every player I've spoken to over the last several weeks, we are in a nasty cold climate, and yet we air the content, we air the show on the islands where it's nice and warm, where you and I probably want to be right about now. What's going on, brother?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing really well, and appreciate you for a couple moments. And it's interesting because we talk so much about the journey, right, of a lot of these players. And you've been around the block. You're a veteran. You're a pros pro. You play kind of all over the place. A lot of stops. But when we were talking prior to, you bounce around a little bit college wise. Was
Yeah,
that just a product of just you were trying to figure out what the best fit for you was? Was it, it just maybe it didn't work out with one school or one coach? Walk us through that because I know that you've kind of had a couple stops.
yeah. Well, first of all, I just want to thank you, man, for letting me be on your show, man. I appreciate that. It's a blessing to be on the show with you, Rich.
Thank you.
But mainly, my first year was our coaching staff got fired, the whole staff got fired, and our whole team left. So that was like a scratch year. Like we had to leave, And I'm a type of guy that wants to build a program and stay, and it was a JUCO. So I ended up leaving, going to Seward County, redshirted, and then I played, and then I had to leave again because it was a 2 year. So my next year I went to Kansas Wesleyan, and I actually had problems with the head coach and things like that of nature. So I actually was like, man, I want to leave. That was the first time I've ever was like, I need to leave. So it kind of bounced out like that. And then I went to my senior year. I was like, dang, I should have just came here after JUCO. So, but
But
everything has a plan.
does that kind of experience kind of harden you a little bit to kind of know that, it's not always going to be the easiest journey, and also it takes a little bit of time to kind of either find the right fit, or sometimes you say, well, the grass maybe isn't greener on the other side and maybe I should have sucked it up a little bit.
Um, Not exactly. I would say when I left, I knew I would. It was better. It was better situation for me, better opportunity. I was wanted it. They was wanting me to excel at different positions and stuff. At my old school, they was trying to make me play like a five position just because I was so athletic, and I
Right.
was like, to play at the professional level, I have to be able to play a guard position, shoot the ball well, and I was just, trying to tell the head coach that, and he wasn't, feeling it. So I was like, you know what? I guess this isn't the fit for me. So, we can go our separate ways. So
So
that's
a
how that
couple
went.
stops at JUCO, Kansas Wesleyan, and Robert Morris, which is a good.
Yeah,
All these colleges are credible. Now you mentioned, shooting guard. You're like what I like to recall on the air, kind of like the silky smooth, because I only keep that in the cabinet for the left-handed shooter.
yeah,
That's it.
yep,
I can't. You can't be silky smooth with a right-handed stroke. You got to be silky smooth with the left-handed stroke.
yeah, with a left hand.
Um, were you growing up, as you start to get into the game, were you more of a, did you look at yourself more as a scoring guard, shooting guard, especially with JUCO in college, and then prior, before you got on the pro level? Like, kind of describe your game a little bit.
Man, to be honest, I really don't. I really don't know because like my scoring averages wasn't as high, so I really wasn't like. I feel like I was more like a defensive glue guy. Like I could score, but I was more like my role was more of a, get a stop here, get a couple legs, maybe a wide open jump shot here. I was never like, give me the ball. I'm that guy type of guy. And I've been working on my game so where when the opportunity does come around, I'll be ready for it. So I could do everything, That's how I look at myself like trying to give myself a comparison. I mean, I'm like a people say I play like Zion, like an undersized Zion. So
Really?
yeah,
That's
like,
not a bad comp.
really physical. I could play defense. I mean, I could score the ball. I could shoot it better than Zion. They say so. Uh, yeah,
And it seems like you've probably been a lot more healthier throughout your
for
career.
sure. I mean, I have my injuries along the way, but I feel like I'm more healthier for sure. More healthier.
When did you start playing? Was it something that, you just gravitated towards the game as a kid?
Man, it was literally, I think I was like in fifth grade, I started playing basketball because at first I loved playing football. Like my parents and my aunt was telling me that, oh man, you always just want to play football. You want to hit something. You always want to tackle and hit something. I was like, man, it was fun. I think what turned it around was I had got hit one time real hard. I was like, ah, yeah, this ain't for me. I'm playing basketball. But now I made a decision. I was like, man, I'm looking at career wise, like, do I want to play football? Is short career, basketball, longer career. So I was taking that into account. So that's what made me change over. Like I just need to focus on basketball and lock in on it so I can grow my game. So
Yeah, I mean that's exactly what it is, right? Again, overseas dimes. I'm Rich Quinones, Ernest Carter Jr. Kind enough to join us, and again, for those tuning in for the first time, kind of a fast-paced look. We focus on what's going on abroad and overseas, and of course, stateside previews, recaps, and we get the pleasure of always interviewing players making an impact on and off the floor. The pro game, again, kind of like the college, finding that fit, bouncing around a little bit. But that's what you have to do when you want to play pro ball. You got to figure out the best case, the best scenario, right? So you look at, the Royals, Florida Gulf Coast, Little Rock, Lone Sport. So I know a couple of those teams. I know Florida Gulf Coast. They had a cup of coffee in the TBL, as I like to say. Correct?
yeah, they was like the very one of the very first teams to ever be in the league. So they were
Yeah.
pretty decent. Yeah, I
Yeah,
got
and
the
Little Rock does a really nice job. They've got a nice mix of talent. It's just tough. Some of the markets, right? You know this, right? Some of
yeah.
the different leagues and the markets, and trying to kind of keep it sustainable and consistent. And even like overseas, you gotta kind of pick and choose. Like if you kind of had your I guess you can say your perfect scenario. Would you want to keep playing stateside, or would crack it at playing overseas?
Honestly, in my opinion, if I go overseas, it has to be worth it though, the money wise and stuff. Because usually when you go overseas, it's like a 10-month season. So you're gone for a while. And back home, I'm like a CNA where I work at. So I make pretty good money. So when I play in the TBL, it's kind of convenient. My people can come to my games and stuff like that. And plus, I've went overseas before and the experience threw me like, this is how it looks. I was like, nah, I don't want no
Where were
parts.
you?
I went to El Salvador. I was supposed to be out there for a stint of 5 months for it was a regular end of the regular season into the playoffs, but where they had us stand and the situation, it wasn't for me. I mean, I was grateful to go over and get the opportunity, but I was like, I knew I was better than that and I could be playing somewhere else better. So I told my agent at the time I was like, nah, I'm not with this one. I need to come back home.
Listen, everyone always, there's this perception that it's glorified to play overseas, right? And
Yeah,
there's certain areas, there's certain countries, like Turkey, you have the highest earning potential.
yeah,
Cyprus, it's a friggin' paradise, right? France, that for the most part, you know, that money is banked, it's guaranteed.
yeah,
There are a couple other, like Iceland's starting to really make some moves because it's fast paced, entertaining, and the stats are accurate. But then, as you
yeah,
mentioned, there are a couple other, you might want to go play in a Mexico, or like play for a SIPA Pac league, or go to El Salvador, or go to Colombia, or go, play in Puerto Rico. But they always, it looks good on paper
yeah, for sure,
until you get there. Now, I do ask this common question, and I hear the same thing from everyone. Everyone always tells me you're there to do a job, and a
for
lot of people
sure.
are telling me, "Yo, Q, I got horror stories. Like I was jet lagged, sleep deprived, didn't eat. As soon as I get off the plane, right to the gym." Is that what happened with you?
Yes, this is just like that, right to the gym. It's like as soon as we hopped off, we got picked up right to practice. I'm like, okay, and then they're speaking a language I know. I'm like asking what I'm playing. I'm like, what's he saying? He said, "Oh, you get the ball, come off, and you score." I'm like, "Oh, okay, makes sense." So it's kind of confusing. And then it's just like, if anything was to happen to you, you're in a whole different country where you know how are you gonna get home? What I'm saying. This is just a lot of things. To play overseas, you have to be different. Like it's different because your family's gone. Maybe some kids, people got kids. So they're so far away from their kids and stuff like that. So that's
When you
tough. You gotta
say
be
when you say you have to be different, I didn't mean to cut you off. When you say you have to be different, like cut from a different cloth, different, or mentally tougher to understand. If
mental.
you really want to do this, there's going to have to be some hardship and sacrifice involved, and
That
growing pains.
Yeah, that part, that part of mental toughness and growing as a person, like this understanding, like, okay, I'm here to do a job. I got kids to feed and stuff like that at that time. So with that, it's just me. I'm just like, I don't have any kids right now, but at the same time, it's just like I'm not. I don't want to do that. I want to be in my country, And being over there made me appreciate being where I'm from, So like it was like I have hot water running, I have food in my refrigerator, water, things of that nature. My phone actually worked, you
Right.
know. But I'm not opposed to playing overseas. I give a plot to the guys over there, because there's a lot of guys that aren't overseas that could go overseas and kill right now as well too, though, that would flourish over there. So
Is money always a deciding factor? Like, I know obviously it's the root of all evil at the end of the day, but you have to make a living. You got to get paid, and you want to get paid for what you believe your worth is. But I also know from talking to a lot of players that they might sit there and say 5 grand a month, and you're like, hey man, 5 grand a month plus travel and living, and then all of a sudden you get over there, and hey man, the devil's in the details. Maybe the agent didn't read it clearly enough. Maybe it's in a different language. Maybe you miss something was misconstrued, and that 5 G's, well, hold on a second, we're also going to subtract 1,000 for your bed.
oh
Right.
man, that's exactly how it was when I got to El Salvador. When I got there, got to the place, we signed, took our pictures and everything. We was like, hey, yeah, so we're gonna be getting paid this and that at the every at the end of the month, right? The coach is like, oh no, 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 you just stay here, eat free food, and then we just play, and then that's it. I was like, what? I was like, I can't. I told my agent, I said, you said we supposed to be getting paid. I can't be out here playing for free with food. I have bills back home, I didn't have my own place yet, but still, like, I got stuff to pay. So I was like,
Yeah.
nah, I
Now,
can't.
listen, it's there's so many different stories. I mean, and not everyone. Look, I mean, it's a little blimp, but your preference is to play in the states, and I know a lot of players. They make very good money playing in the states, and they make really good money. Some of them playing overseas. It's it's what you're comfortable with and the best fit. And I know
For
like some of
sure.
these other leagues, like stateside now with the TBL. That's been successful over the last 3, 4, 5 years. Um, I know you and I were talking off the air. The USBL that's revamped, so they're going
Yeah.
to start playing. My only, it's not even a critique, not even a criticism. You brought up a really interesting point. So say you go to a Colombia or Mexico or El Salvador and you're playing January, February, March, right? It's a 3 month contract, and that season runs until say end of March. And then all of a sudden they're like, well, hold on a second. We can get you in another league right here that starts in April. Now you're stretched, right? And you're you're
Yeah.
you're potentially making more money, you're getting your reps, you're getting acclimated. The one thing in the states with the lower leagues, obviously NBA and then the G League and then some of these lower leagues, it's tough when you are competing against each other to some
Yeah.
extent. And I'm not going to say it waters down the product. I'm not that's doing a disservice, because knowing these leagues as well as I do, there's talent. But
Yeah.
I think also maybe down the road, it's like, hey, let's kind of start this league after this one ends. If that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, that's what I feel like they try to do, but some of them kind of like midway starting between each one. So like, the TBL season is like right after March Madness, college, because that's when everybody's watching that, and then it kind of starts with us. But
Yeah,
NBA is kind of going still at the same time,
right.
and then Yeah, they kind of compete with the G League, but I'd say the TBS kind of like with the G League. We just don't got the pay grade as like the G League. This past season in Logansport, we had a guy on our team that played in the G League. He was like 6'7", long. He could play. He's pretty decent, but I always just thought like it's just with that. It's about who you know. It's the politics. It's so much politics in that because there's a lot of guys I know that could play in the G League that shit is not even there. It's just
But
it's
I
all
don't,
about.
you know what? It's not even pushback to what you're saying. The G League is solid, but
Oh yeah.
there's like okay, so you've got now NBA Africa, which they're
Mhm.
funneling a ton of money in, and it's a competitive. You're getting a very good pay rate, good pay scale. Now, look, everywhere you go, there's always a little goofiness going on with the teams and the leagues and the favoritism. I don't care what it is, man. You get it on the college level, the pro level, semi-pro level, overseas, all over the place.
Yeah.
But I know, G League, it's good because you're basically you're kind of treading water in the G League. It's like, okay, now I'm going to throw you a lifeline. I'm going to sign you to a 10-day contract. But again, man, out of those players, let's call for what it is. If 20 guys sign 10-day contracts, how many out of those 20 are going to sign another 10-day, another 10-day, another 10-day? It's
Exactly.
tough, right?
Yeah. And that's some guys' dream. So that 10 day, that's remarkable. So like, and that's big. Like if I was to sign a 10 day, I would be so grateful, so happy. Like if I didn't make it, I still be like, hey man, I still
Because
signed
of
a
the
10.
markability.
Yeah. So and I would like my goal was like and still is kind of is trying to get to the G League, but I'm getting up there in age, but it's so hard to try to get to that point. You got to have a good agent, you got to have the stats and the numbers, but at the same time though, like I'm a glue guy, so like a lot of teams, they not looking for guys that come in and have 30 points. They looking for guys that can play defense, play a role. So that's what I feel like I could do. And they be picking up guys that's, oh, he's scoring 35, 40, like, but he's not going to be on your team scoring 35, 40. He's going to be playing a role. So that's all I'll be thinking. I put it together. So because I'll be like, I could definitely go do what he's doing in the G League, pass the ball, cut and set a screen, flare to the corner, catch and shoot, or catch, pump fake, drive, kick. It's simple. Basketball is easy. People
Right.
make it harder than what it is. So
Look at the NBA. What is it? It's either ISO or it's
pick
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 and
and
roll.
roll. Yep.
That's it. That's all it is, man. Now, overseas and in Europe, the ball never touches the floor. It's a different animal,
Oh
right?
yeah.
I'm wondering when you played over in El Salvador, did you play with a lot of Americans?
Uh, it was only one other American on our team.
Okay. So you
Yeah.
guys kind of commiserated with each other?
Yeah, it's so crazy. He played with me in Gulf Coast, in Florida Gulf Coast. We
Oh,
both,
really?
yeah. So we both was actually on the team, and he was telling me, he said, "Nah, bro, I'm gonna stick it out." I said, "Well, you stick it out. I'm going home." And then he ended was like, "I'm going home too." So yeah.
So, funny story, like with that Gulf Coast team. I remember when I was trying to get a gig doing more broadcasting.
Hmm.
So it seems as though, like everywhere I've gone to start, a lot of these leagues have folded. A lot of these teams, you know, they've lasted a cup of coffee. They folded after like four. So
Man.
so I was doing the ABA and I was like, let me just get my reps in, because I was doing college, I was doing all the high school. I was like, I want to get my reps in. I want to pivot a little bit. So the team in the ABA, Atlantic City, lasted 5 games. It was a mess. And they had
Oh,
some talent. I mean, they scored 269 points and it kind of made the league look eh. But,
dang.
there was let's just say, um, money was sticking the hands, and I'll leave it at that at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So then I found out about the TVL. So I'm like, all right. And I think people were looking at me like, well, the ABA is kind of lower than the TVL. Fine.
Oh yeah.
I just want to call the games. Just give me my
Y-
crack.
Yeah.
PA team started doing that. They lasted 4 or 5 games. Then I was with AC, which played really well for 2 seasons. Then they folded. Then, I worked a little bit. I helped my guy, Coach D, with Tri State. Okay. They had a handful of games. Obviously, last year, Jersey Shore kind of where I'm hanging my hat because I love what they're doing. It's just a phenomenal franchise. But to the Florida team, I reached out to them and I sent them some clips.
Mhm.
And I was like, well, I'm most likely going to be relocating, very soon. And it was one of these, all right, well, give us a call in another couple weeks. I gave him a call in another couple weeks only to know that they didn't even last. I mean, you tell me, what was it, 7 or 8 games?
Yeah, that's
And
crazy.
that's a gorgeous area down there. That's a nice market.
It is. We played in a nice gym too. I was like, this is nice.
What was the attendance? You remember?
Probably
So-
like 15, 20 people a game.
oh, you put your
Yeah, like I could count on my hand. Like it was that bad
That's
though. I was
see, but
like,
that's
bruh,
that's
ain't
tough.
nobody coming to these games.
Man. So
It's
what
so
are
crazy though, like, and when I got there, like they were still trying to like stick with their guys kind of and like in practice, I was like, I'm dominating them. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, let me come in and like, play. They wasn't going for it. So like I ended the season with them and they wanted me to come back and play the next season, but that's when I had went to Little Rock and was like,
yeah,
nah, I'm going to Little Rock. So
that's funny, man. I mean, and listen, like I said, it's tough to sustain it. I just recall, and I won't name the team where I was calling a game, and I felt as though everyone can hear me.
yeah.
Like I got my headset on and I'm like, am I being too loud? And I've been doing this for 20 something odd years. Now, what are your plans right now? I mean, obviously you got TBL, you got USBL, you got ECBL, you've got a couple other leagues. I know there's, I think, NBL National Basketball League is going to be pumping out some stuff. I think in December, January. Are you signed to a team right now?
No, but I am committed towards a team though. So the North Dakota Roar, the new team, the newest team up in North Dakota.
Okay.
Uh, our head coach from Logan Sport actually took that job, so I'll be heading out there in like mid-February, late February,
So where are you now? Where do you reside now?
in Topeka, Kansas.
Okay. How
Yeah,
now is that a long I mean, how's that travel? Is it I mean, you're smiling. I'm gonna assume you're gonna fly, not drive, right?
yeah, I'm definitely flying. I'm not driving.
Listen, I am horrible. People tell me don't ever bring it up on the air, man. If you sat a map in front of me, I would be lost. So
Oh
like
yeah, for sure.
it's a long drive.
It's like 14 hours.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm
that's
like, nah, I can't do that one. I drove 8 to Indiana last year. I had my car in Logan Sport, but
okay.
I was like, nah, I'm not. That's far. I'm like, oh my goodness.
So you got connections with this so it's the new market in the TBL.
Yeah, it's a new market because our team in Logansport, I mean, this past season we didn't have an owner, so the Magleys was basically our owners of the team, and
Got
they
you.
dispersed our payments every 2 weeks, uh, and I guess they don't want to be the owners of that team, you know what I'm saying? Because
Of
they
course,
kind of lose.
conflict of interest.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So they're
Yeah.
trying to have somebody own that team, and I wasn't opening to go back to that team because I don't like to jump from team to team and stuff like that. I mean, you can't see the camera. The camera can't see, but I got like 5 different jerseys hanging up in my room, where teams I played. I really like a guy trying to stick to a team
Yep.
and just build,
Yeah.
keep building, so I could get understanding of the system and better myself. Because if you keep changing scenery all the time, it's gonna be hard, trying to be consistent and stuff like that. That's how I just be wanting to be consistent, play my role and grow, at that time, So, but I
Yeah.
think this
No,
year we're gonna be really good. We're gonna be a team to watch, for
okay.
sure. Yeah,
Do
we're
you
gonna have.
the TBL, it's interesting because in the East Coast, on the East Coast, it's really predicated with the guard play, and then the Midwest and out west, it's a lot of the bigs.
Yeah,
Right? And it's kind of like an open I mean, I can tell you this, there listen, the run Capital had last year against Potawatomi, you're talking about a team that's won it 3 straight years, right? I mean, they're back, they got horses, Capitals, they've left, a lot of the teams that I mentioned,
yeah,
East Coast left to the USBL, but there's a lot of talent of guys that have played in the G
yeah,
League, played overseas. I think the TBL is a solid league.
yeah, for
It's
sure.
there's really good play in the league, and I think it's the market. If you get in the right market, especially being with a new team and gravitating toward that, and then they kind of can build that you got a veteran player, pros pro, you kind of build the branding around a player like yourself, then to
Yeah,
me, that would make you would be more inclined to stick with
yeah,
that team going forward.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you follow college or NBA?
During football season, not really. If you can see, I'm a Ravens fan, so
They're
I
listen, they're I said this on my other pod in the States. They're gonna make a run, man. I said, talk to me when they're 5-5, 6-5 now. They're gonna make a run,
yeah.
obviously with Henry and Lamar Jackson. That's interesting. So during football, you're locked into the Ravens,
But
and then
I love Lamar, and he actually liked my post the other day too. So I was like, bro, that's big.
he
I
just needs
love,
to be healthy. Like the
yeah,
window is there. Kansas
yeah,
City is not Kansas City. Buffalo is flawed. New England is a young team. It's
yeah,
Indianapolis. Everyone's waiting for Danny Nichols to revert back to that. You know,
yeah,
it's there for Baltimore as long as they're healthy.
yeah. And A, like I say, like he says or they say, in L we trust. I believe what he got going. Win, lose or draw, I'm still riding with him. So
Yeah.
he's a. I follow him tough. I follow the Ravens tough. So I'm a believer.
I
So
wish I would have known you were a Ravens fan before the segment. You see a little blue helmet behind me?
I don't see it. Oh, is that a Broncos helmet?
No, no,
What is
worse.
it?
That's a
Huh?
Giants helmet.
Oh Lord,
Yeah.
it's a Giants
Hey,
helmet.
I mean,
It's
listen,
okay. Jackson Dart's gonna get y'all. He gonna get y'all right.
yeah, but I'm saying because you're Ravens, you embarrassed me in the Super Bowl 34-7. I'm a kickoff return away from getting shut out.
Yeah.
Kerry Collins had a nightmare. Kerry Collins throws 5 touchdown passes against Minnesota in the NFC Championship, and then he's picked off 76 times against that nasty Ravens squad.
Woo. Oh man, it's crazy.
Jackson Dart, I think he's going to be a good player, man. I do.
Oh
I
yeah.
think
He
he's
just
got a
got to
little spot.
protect
I like
himself.
Lamar. I think Lamar's an unbelievable talent, man. I think Lamar Jackson, if they win a Super Bowl, Lamar Jackson's a Hall of Fame quarterback. He's trending towards that.
He's already a Hall of Fame quarterback. 2 MVPs.
I
He
know,
should
but you
have.
know what?
He should
What
have
do you
won his
need at the end of the
third.
day? What do you
He
need
should
at
have
the
won
end of
his
the day?
third. He
Right?
should have had 3 MVPs. Last year they just gave it to Josh Allen, and they were
Yeah,
even
that might have been the Michael and Karl Malone kind of thing.
man, they were saying it on the air. They was like, "Man, Lamar's already won it twice. Just give it to Josh." And next, they really gave it to Josh. I was like, "Wow, are you serious?" And people were like, "Ain't no way!" And he got first team All Pro too
Yeah,
at that.
yeah,
So that's like, what are we doing here? You
yeah,
know?
yeah.
So
Look,
and
look
and
at you
people.
dropping the football knowledge.
Man, I'm big on it. I keep up with it. I watch it. I told you I love football. Like my
Yeah.
brother plays semi-pro football in Kansas City, and I was like, bruh, I low key want to play football. Like Lamar is so generational, so good. I just like, bruh, I want to play football just because he plays football.
Well,
It's
listen. Now
fun.
I know that you're an NFL guy. We got to get you stateside on the other pod, man. We got to work that in. We got.
Yeah,
Listen. I gotta have my my Ravens correspondent, so we'll do that.
for sure. But on
Hey,
the
listen.
NBA
Before,
side, though, I actually
yeah,
did catch a game last night when I was at work. I was watching the Minnesota Timberwolves, and I love Ant too, though. I like
yep,
Ant Man. I
yeah,
try to catch Ant or Zion for real, but I
nice.
love watching Ant and the Timberwolves. But I'm just like, they were winning, and he had 43, and they went to overtime. Just like, man, turnovers, people
Yep,
just doing stupid mistakes. And then at that level, when a player makes a mistake, it's not get him out. They got to play through it. Like, so
correct,
sometimes in the
correct.
TBL, like if you make one mistake, you're coming out. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's your leash be kind of short. It just depends.
Yeah,
But
that is
I be
100.
trying to, I be wanting Ant to succeed because I like his game. I like his game a lot.
No doubt. That's 100%, by the way. Hey, real quick before I let you get out of here, if everyone wants to follow you on social media, social media, IG, X, Facebook, whatever, TikTok, YouTube, go ahead.
Well, my Instagram is EC_33. That's probably my biggest handle, the main one I use. Uh X, I really don't be using X. I just retweet Raven stuff. I think my at handle is Young Goofy 10. I made that back when I was young, so don't make fun of me.
All good. All
Yeah.
good. All good. Well, look, man, I appreciate you jumping on board for a couple moments, as we like to say, taking the time to run the floor with us on this edition of Overseas Dimes, and we'll be watching in March, man. And we're definitely going to get you back on, and we're definitely going to get you back on stateside,
For
talk about
sure.
NFL. But I appreciate a couple moments, brother. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Rich. Appreciate you for having me.